Okay, let's unpack this. Imagine finding something so out of place it just feels wrong.
Like a glitch in reality. Yeah.
Exactly. Our sources today, they talk about the Starship Voyager out in deep space finding something. Well, completely bizarre. Rust.
Rust, just floating.
Yeah, that reddish-brown stuff just floating in the vacuum. And get this, the source, a 1936 Ford truck.
A truck from the 1930s.
A gasoline-powered truck, almost 4 centuries old. Now, here's where it gets really, really weird.
How can it rust? I mean, no oxygen, right?
Right. How does iron oxidize without oxygen? That's the immediate puzzle.
And what's fascinating is that this truck isn't just some random space junk. It's like the first breadcrumb.
Yeah.
It leads Voyager to something even bigger, this massive historical mystery down on a planet, a Class L planet.
Essentially habitable, yeah.
Yeah.
And for this deep dive, you've pulled together some great stuff. We've got Memory Alpha, Wikipedia, the usual Star Trek staples.
There's comprehensive stuff there.
And then this untitled document. Looks like production notes, maybe?
Yeah.
Behind the scenes?
Oh, interesting. And the Reddit post.
Scanned scripts from the actual Voyager episode, the 37s. So our mission today is to dig into all this, unravel this, like, galaxy-spanning mystery.
It really touches on exploration, doesn't it? And human resilience.
Absolutely. And just how history can take these totally unexpected, almost unbelievable turns.
It starts as this weird science problem, rust in space, and boom, it becomes this huge historical detective story miles from Earth.
So let's go back to that first moment. Voyager's just doing its thing, and Lieutenant Kim picks up these weird particles.
Rust particles, and Janeway naturally questions it. How is this possible?
Because basic chemistry says no, right? You need an oxidizer, usually oxygen.
Finding it in a vacuum, that immediately flags it as something. Well, not normal, very unusual.
And it gets even stranger. They analyze the rust, find traces of complex hydrocarbons, benzene, ethylene, acetylene.
Stuff you don't just find floating around.
Exactly. But luckily, they have Tom Paris, Lieutenant Paris, you know, their resident gearhead for old Earth stuff.
Right, the antique vehicle expert.
Right. He immediately IDs them. Gasoline combustion byproducts. Fuel for 20th century internal combustion engines.
His expertise there is just crucial. He connects the chemicals to a specific time, a specific technology on Earth.
Yeah.
Suddenly, it's not just space dust. It's a historical artifact.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And they trace it back to the source, this 1936 Ford truck. A classic.
Wow.
And Paris is right there, explaining the engine, pistons, how it needed gasoline.
Right.
He even figures it was probably a farmer's truck.
Oh.
Found traces of horse manure and alfalfa seedlings on it. Gives you a picture, doesn't it?
Definitely paints a picture. A rural Earth farm truck somehow ending up in the Delta Quadrant. It makes zero sense.
None at all. Like Janeway says, I doubt there are many 20th century farmers driving around the Delta Quadrant. You think.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
But then another twist. There's an AM radio inside the truck. Still working. Broadcasting an SOS.
An old AM signal after all that time.
Yeah. And Kim points out something important. Starfleet doesn't usually monitor AM. It travels at light speed.
Which sounds fast, but in interstellar terms.
It's snail mail. Way too slow compared to subspace communication.
So finding that signal is pure luck, almost. Or maybe just really thorough scanning. It's old Earth tech just creeping across space.
So, okay, decision time. They follow the signal. It leads to this Class L planet. Oxygen-argon atmosphere. Looks promising for life.
It's good so far.
But there's a catch. Trinemic interference in the atmosphere.
Ah, the classic Trek atmospheric problem. What does that do?
Screws up subspace comms, messes with transporter beams, shuttle sensors. Basically, beaming down or taking a shuttle is out.
So, a major roadblock. It forces Janeway's hand, doesn't it? Shows how unpredictable space can be. You find a lead, but the environment fights back.
And her solution? Well, it's pretty bold. She decides to land Voyager.
Land the whole starship. An intrepid class.
Yep, land it right on the planet's surface. Something Lieutenant Paris, the guy actually flying the ship, admits he's never done before.
I bet. That's not exactly in the standard pilot's manual, landing a starship like that.
Definitely not. And our sources, the production notes especially, they confirm this was a huge deal. First time in Trek canon, a Federation starship actually landed and took off again from a planet.
It really shows Janeway's determination, though. She wants answers, even if it means putting the ship itself at risk.
The notes are pretty cool in this. Apparently, the idea Voyager could land was baked in early. The model had landing leg panels from the start.
Oh, neat.
They used CGI for the legs unfolding, but physical models for the shots on the ground.
Hmm.
There's a funny bit about the producers thinking the legs look too small.
Really?
Yeah, so they apparently used rocks in the shots to kind of hide the feet. And later they realized the CGI scale of the landed ship was actually wrong anyway.
Huh. The magic of television production. You gotta love those little details. It shows how much work went into just making that landing look real.
So they pull it off. Voyager lands safely, despite Paris maybe sweating a bit.
I would be.
An away team heads out to find the source of that SOS. And what do they find? Another relic.
Not another truck.
No, a plane. A Lockheed L-10 Electra.
Wait. The same type Amelia Earhart flew.
The very same. And just like the truck, it's got some weird alien fusion generator hooked up to it, keeping that ancient AM radio broadcasting for centuries.
Okay, so the plane confirms the 1937 connection, and the alien tech powering both the truck and the plane. That's the big clue, isn't it? Someone else was involved?
Definitely. Meanwhile, another team checks out some weird energy readings, finds a hidden mine shaft.
And inside.
Cryostasis chambers. 5 of them. One holds 8 people. Humans, barely alive.
8 humans from when?
And here's the bombshell. Janeway spots a name tag on one. A. Earhart.
No way. Amelia Earhart.
Amelia Earhart herself. Janeway, being a history buff, gives the rundown pioneering aviator, disappeared in 37, the whole mystery.
Wow.
And she points out the irony, right? The alien abduction theory everyone laughed at. Looks like it was true all along.
That is staggering. Finding Amelia Earhart alive in the Delta Quadrant, it completely changes the game. It's not just a rescue mission anymore.
It's history staring them in the face. And it seems all 8 are from that same era, the 1930s. So Janeway has a choice. Leave them frozen. Or
wake them up. They might have answers about how they got there.
Exactly. So they decide to revive them. But carefully. Only human-looking crew present, except Keys, the Ocampa, who can pass.
Smart. Trying to minimize the shock, waking up in the 24th century would be a lot.
Understatement. So the revival scene, yeah, it's tense. They wake up totally lost, demanding answers. They only remember the day before they were snatched.
Imagine that disorientation. Amelia Earhart, Fred Noonan, her navigator, this Japanese guy Nogami, the farmer Hayes. Just utter confusion and fear.
Totally plausible.
Yeah.
Who wouldn't be terrified?
Right.
And then Noonan, well, he doesn't handle it well, pulls out a revolver, an old Earth gun.
Whoa. Takes him hostage.
Yep. Takes the away team hostage, demanding to talk to J. Edgar Hoover.
Hoover. Wow. That just shows the massive gap, the culture shock. He can't grasp it centuries later.
Not at all. Earhart, though, she seems more curious. Maybe that pilot spirit.
Ready to explore the unknown, even this unknown.
Maybe. Janeway tries to explain. It's 2371. You've been gone over 400 years. Earhart remembers flying, seeing a weird light. Hayes remembers the same thing with his truck.
So their stories match up.
They do. But Janeway's explanation, alien abduction, they're skeptical. I mean, who wouldn't be?
It's a lot to swallow, even with the evidence right there.
And just as they're maybe starting to process that, Voyager detects more life signs. Other people on the planet.
Not the aliens who abducted them.
Chakotay leads a team to check it out. They run into resistance, hooded figures, energy weapons.
Oh, so these are the aliens?
Nope. Surprise. They pull back their hoods. They're human, too.
What? More humans? How?
Massive twist, right? Turns out, one of them. John Evansville, he explains. Back in 1937, these aliens called a Briori didn't just grab 8 people. They took about 300.
300 humans? What for?
Slavery. Brought them to this planet, forced them to work.
That's horrible.
But here's the amazing part. The humans eventually fought back. They revolted.
They did. Against aliens with advanced tech.
Yep. Overpowered the Briori, destroyed their ship, their technology, and then over 15 generations, they built their own society. 3 cities, over 100,000 people.
Wow. That's incredible resilience. From slaves to a thriving civilization.
Exactly. And these 8, the ones from the cryopods, the 37s they call them, they're like living monuments to those original ancestors, foundational figures.
So this descendant society, they welcome Voyager.
They do. They invite the crew and the newly revived 37s to stay, settle down, join them.
And that puts Janeway in a hell of a spot.
Oh, yeah. A huge dilemma. And Voyager's journey right here. Give the crew a chance at a normal life, a home, even if it's not Earth.
A tempting offer after being stranded for so long.
She talks it over with Chakotay. And he admits, yeah, it's impressive what they've built here, but...
That is not home.
Exactly. He talks about wanting to see an Arizona sunrise, swim in the Gulf of Mexico. That pull of Earth is strong.
That deep connection to where you're from. It's fundamental. So what does Janeway do?
She puts it to the crew. Their choice. Stay here, build a life, Or keep going, back to the Alpha Quadrant.
That's big. She's risking losing a lot of people, undermanning the ship.
She acknowledges that risk. Meanwhile, Earhart and the other 37s, they decide.
They stay.
They stay. Earhart was tempted by Voyager, the stars. But this place, these descendants of people snatched with her. That connection is stronger. It feels like where they belong now.
Makes sense. A shared history, a community ready-made for them. It's powerful.
So the moment of truth.
Yeah.
Janeway announces the decision. Anyone who wants to stay, report to the cargo bay.
Oh, man, the tension.
Kiki and Chakotay walk there, wondering who they'll see. Maybe some Maquis. Someone who found love. They know losing anyone hurts, but they respect the choice.
Yeah.
Janeway pauses at the door, takes a breath, opens it. Empty. The cargo bay is completely empty.
Wow, nobody.
Nobody. The entire crew chose Voyager, chose the journey home. Janeway's reaction, just pure emotion, relief.
That's a powerful moment. Says a lot about that crew's unity, their commitment to getting home no matter what.
Definitely. And, looking at the production side again, this episode, the 37s, it was meant to be the season 1 finale.
Oh, really? A cliffhanger, maybe?
Seems like it. But it ended up being the season 2 premiere instead. Brandon Braga, one of the writers, apparently wished it was a 2-parter, felt there was more story there.
You can see why. There's a lot packed in.
Yeah. And apparently both Braga and Michael Piller, the creator, were kind of bummed they never got to actually show the cities the descendants built. Budget constraints,
Ah, shame. Seeing this human civilization evolved light years from Earth, that would have been visually stunning.
Wouldn't it? And we mentioned the landing, of course. Huge production element. First Federation ship landing and takeoff in canon. CGI, models, the whole deal.
A big technical achievement for the show.
And apparently Kate Mulgrew and Sharon Lawrence, who played Earhart so well, they really clicked on set, got along great.
The chemistry often comes through on screen.
Yeah, and Mulgrew apparently saw Earhart as a personal hero for Janeway, which adds this nice little layer to their scenes together.
A meeting of pioneers, in a way.
Exactly. So, wrapping up this deep dive, what are the big takeaways? We've got this centuries-old mystery solved, right?
Yeah, an incredible human resilience on display, those captured humans building a whole world.
The tough choices leaders like Janeway face, and that deep, deep desire for home that drives the Voyager crew.
And finding Amelia Earhart, just the sheer unlikeliness of it all, highlights how vast and strange the galaxy really is.
Makes you wonder, doesn't it? What other bits of Earth history are scattered out there? Lost chapters waiting to be found.
And what does it really mean if you do find a new home, so far away? Can it ever truly replace the original?
Which brings us to that final thought. Voyager's crew had a choice. A seemingly perfect alternative. A safe haven.
A thriving human society, ready to welcome them.
Yet every single one of them chose the hard road home. Why? What is that drive? That pull back to the known?
Is it just about reaching Earth? Or is the journey itself, overcoming all those obstacles together, the thing that really defines them?
It's a powerful question, This whole story, pieced together from the episode, the scripts, the notes, it really makes you think about our own ties to home, to history, and to that unknown frontier that always seems to call to us.